This video is to show you about the market overview screen. It's a feature we've had for a couple of years, and we have recorded a video on it before, but it's lower resolution, so this is a high definition video of the market overview screen. Market overview screen can be accessed by clicking on this icon here, and I'll explain what each of these areas is actually doing. The top level here is obviously an overview of the market. You can see here the name of the horses and the price, last traded price. Implied probability is basically telling you the chance that the market is discounting that this particular selection has of winning the market. So you can see here it's priced at 179, which represents about a 55% chance. If we go down to here, odds of 26 equals just slightly less than a 4% chance. This horse has traded at a high of 212 and a low of 170, so it's beginning to approach the lower end of its trading range. And you can see here that the low end of the trading range, it's about 25% above that at the moment. You can see down here this says 100%, so it must be at the top end of its trading range. Last traded price 34, current price 34, high of 34 would equal 100%. The trade's just gone through below. But you can see where the range percentage comes from. This will allow you to quickly identify where something is. You can see these are mid-range. This is at the upper end of the range, and the favourite is at the lower end of the range. All prices in a betting market interact with each other, so it's very useful information. Also useful information that you can see here is the volume. You can see that while this horse is 55% of the market, it's taken 86% of the volume, very significant. And you can see down here 4% of the market has only got 1% of the volume. All these are represented on the chart. You can see if I move the chart, or my cursor rather, over the chart, you can see here all of those odds are in there. So if you want to select whether to display something on the chart, you can deselect or select it from here. You can select its color and it will be displayed on the chart. And you've also got projected SPs on here if you want to use those, although it's dependent upon what you're attempting to achieve as to whether you want to use those. The chart itself, you can focus in on certain runners, or you can expand the number of runners that are available within the chart, or you can just click on auto zoom and that will basically display all runners. The problem you can see here is one runner's taking up the majority of the market, so auto zoom in this case probably isn't applicable or worthwhile, so we'll just shrink it and expand it down to a certain number of runners. And you can modify and focus in on 3 certain runners if you want to, or you can just bring it into 4, or you can focus on just one. It's entirely up to you what you want to do. But what we suggest is that you actually have maybe 2 or 3 runners here at shorter odds, because that will give you an indication as to the way that the market is moving. You can also see over here we have a thing called a risk meter, and the idea behind this is it tells you how volatile the market is. So whether you're scalping, swing trading, whatever you're trying to achieve, this will give you an indication as to whether the market is behaving itself. And it does that by looking at this particular setup of market, compares it to historical markets and how they've acted, and then it will come back with a risk indicator. So you can see here it says 30, which is on the border of green and yellow. So this is indicating the market is slightly less volatile than the same sort of market has been in the past. Now it's important to note that each market has a different setup, and the risk meter looks at each of those markets to judge whether it's more or less volatile than it has been in the past. So at the moment you can see the risk meter is saying, well, actually this market's quite quiet in comparison to markets that look similar in the past. As the market matures, the risk meter will start to respond, but basically, when you start going over on this side of the risk meter, then it's extremely volatile, and you can expect some quite large moves, and large moves would have happened. If it's over here, it's incredibly stable, and you could probably afford to take on more risk without fear of the market moving dramatically against you. But that's how to use the risk meter. Each of these columns you can move around and sort if you want to. It's possible to choose which columns you want displayed. I've got this hidden at the moment, so let me shrink that back down and bring up the column chooser. There we go. So you can choose which columns you want to put on there, and you can actually sort each of these columns. So if you want to go by last traded price, you want to go by the current back price, or perhaps by volume, it's possible to sort the market according to however you wish, by the name of the horse, however you want to do it. But you can also click on these and undock them and move them around. Now I need to unpin that. So if I want to have this on a separate screen detached over here, or maybe I want to change the style and the look of this particular screen and maybe have the risk meter on the left or the right, or maybe I don't want to have the risk meter at all, or I want to put that somewhere else, it's very easy to do. You can play around to your heart's content in terms of how you want to set up the screen. And as long as you save these under a profile, BetAngel will automatically remember where these screens are docked, undocked, and where they've been positioned. So it's up to you whether you want to include some of this information on your main trading screen, whether you want it all compacted onto the market overview screen, whether you want to get rid of some of it, or however you want to use it. It's perfectly feasible to undock and move and modify the information on the screen. But that is the market overview screen.